Hello there, people of the internet. So, in the gun community, we like talking about mag dumping into garbage and how it is just a complete waste and you shouldn't do it even though it's really, really fun to do. And yes, I do it all of the time because it's really, really fun to do. But whenever people say don't just mag dump into garbage, practice your fundamental rifle skills, otherwise you're just wasting ammo, that's something that I gotta disagree with. I 110% agree that you should practice your fundamental rifle skills this way in the event that you have to shoot capably and accurately at a distance, you have the abilities to do so. But just mag dumping into garbage is not a complete waste of ammo. There's a couple of things where mag dumping into garbage is, well, it's beneficial, and this is definitely not a video that I'm making just to have an excuse to be able to go mag dump into garbage because it's really, really fun. So, number one, what I would say is the most important skill developed from mag dumping into garbage. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is putting a magazine inside of your rifle, aiming at a pile of garbage, and just bang, 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 until you're out of ammunition. And then you pull that mag out, put another mag in, aim back at the garbage, bang, 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 just because it's really fun to do. So one of the most important skills that you're going to develop whenever you mag dump into garbage like that is manipulation of your rifle. Typically, people that mag dump into garbage are really, really good at running their rifles really, really quickly. They get very decent at pulling that trigger as rapidly as possible to mag dump those rounds into that garbage as rapidly as possible. And that's a skill that is more difficult than people seem to make it out. If you want to shoot your rifle super, super fast, there's some people out there who can run a rifle really, really fast. And although most people should be able to get away with the speeds that they can run their semi-automatic rifle, man, there's some people out there that are just absolutely incredible whenever it comes to how fast they can pull the trigger on a semi-automatic. And as you do that over and over and over, you just get that repetition and that muscle memory, and you know exactly where your trigger is going to break and reset with your particular rifle. It's just one of those things that subconsciously develops. You get a really, really fast trigger finger. On top of that, you learn how to manipulate your rifle exceptionally well. You learn how to pull that magazine out, put a new one in, press that slide release, or I guess bolt release in this particular case. You learn how to do that really rapidly so you can keep mag dumping into garbage. Now, I get that mag dumping into garbage kind of dismisses a lot of the fundamentals of marksmanship, but it has a lot more fundamentals of marksmanship than people seem to think. I get that the garbage is probably no more than 10 yards away, but you're still learning how to hold your rifle appropriately. For the most part, people are in fact aiming at these things that they're shooting at, even if it is just trash on the ground. And so as people are aiming at these things that are just trash on the ground and holding their rifle appropriately to be able to hit those things, even though the fundamentals of accuracy really aren't there, they are there enough to the point to where if push came to shove, at the distances that most civilians would need a rifle to be able to operate at, they would probably be accurate enough to be able to hit a target at those particular distances. Maybe not like professional military engagement levels of distance, but from a civilian context, like I said, their ability to aim their rifle is probably going to be good enough to be able to solve whatever situation it is that they might find themselves coming up against. So the mag dumping into garbage is not a complete waste of ammunition. You have the manipulation of the rifle that you're learning. You have the ability to be able to shoot really, really rapidly, which, like I said, is far more difficult than people seem to make it out. And you have the ability to generally aim your rifle. I don't want to say aim your rifle because a target at say 150 yards, odds are that person who only mag dumps into garbage isn't gonna be all that accurate in terms of shooting at that particular target. But most of your encounters are probably going to happen within 50 yards of any civilian context that we're talking about here, and odds are that person's going to be accurate enough to be able to handle that particular task, that particular situation, whatever it is that person ends up finding himself handling. And these are all skills that he acquired while mag dumping into garbage. So the big issue with mag dumping into garbage is that oftentimes when people do this, they are using a rifle that is not properly zeroed. They'll zero it well enough for the garbage that they're shooting at so they can relatively hit what it is that they're shooting at, but then they won't really try to shoot past, say, 20 yards. And then if something comes up and they have to touch at 50, 60, 70, 100 yards, that like the hit point of their cartridge is going to be significantly different. There's a bunch of different factors that play into that, like height over bore and the velocity of your round and the actual trajectory, like the rainbow arcing of that particular round. Or maybe your rifle is just like hitting significantly left or right at 100 yards and you just don't know it because you only shoot at 20 yards and you're not paying attention to all that much accuracy. I think that is probably the biggest issue that comes from mag dumping into garbage. But if you have a rifle that is, say, zeroed by a gunsmith, zeroed from the factory, there's a lot of rifles out there that have an actual zero whenever the person gets them and begins to mag dump into garbage. If that rifle is already zeroed, then odds are that person with that rifle will be able to touch out to some pretty fair distances, even with just the skills developed of mag dumping into garbage. And even though they're not going to be as accurate at those distances, they're going to have accuracy from volume of fire, which is what they're used to. Odds are if you're mag dumping into garbage, you got a bunch of magazines, you got a bunch of ammunition, and you have the capabilities to send those downrange really, really rapidly. Just the lead going in that direction, even if you don't hit what you're actually aiming at, odds are the lead going in that direction is probably going to take care of whatever situation it is that you decided required you sending lead in that direction, especially under a civilian context. So no, mag dumping into garbage is not a complete waste of ammunition. There are certain aspects that, although they are not as valuable as actually practicing the fundamentals of rifle marksmanship and manipulation of a firearm, it is still not a complete waste of ammo. You still are learning some of the fundamentals, albeit they are flawed and they are inconsistent. They are pretty much done just for fun versus trying to actually learn. They are, in fact, things that are learned just from you going out and having fun and doing what it is that you're doing, which is mag dumping into garbage. So no, it's not a complete waste of ammo. It is definitely more of a waste of ammo than actually training, but it is not a complete waste of ammo, and it is not a complete waste of time. There are things that people learn from just going out and having fun. There's things that people learn from just playing with their firearms down at the range. It is definitely a valuable, what's the word I'm trying to look for here? I don't want to say it's a valuable skill to have, mag dumping into garbage, but it does provide an aspect of value, a layer of value that a lot of times is overlooked and kind of looked down on in the firearms community. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I think I've earned a shower. I'll see y'all later.
I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.